So lads, not good news right here. Not good news. So whatever the hell they had her doing in Indiana, I mean this when I say this, get as far away from Indiana as possible. Get as far away from that medical team as possible. Because, like, when her body's breaking down with no injury.
The Indiana Fever provided an update on Caitlin Clark's health in a sobering release. It's not good either. Fortunately, a comprehensive medical examination following Clark's right groin injury on July 15th revealed no more injuries or damage to the area, but the relief was short-lived. There isn't a schedule for Clark's comeback, the team said bluntly.
Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available. This is an update, a statement directly.
Nobody can predict when the WNBA's most talented young player will return to the court, not even the coaches or the medical staff. Both teammates and supporters are feeling heartbroken and scared due to this terrifying uncertainty, this unplanned absence is a shock to the system. The statement "no timetable" seems nearly unimaginable for a player like Clark.
There's no timetable for Caitlin Clark's return after being evaluated this week, which means worst case scenario, the Indiana Fever can be without Caitlin for the rest of the year. But best case scenario, she comes back after missing a few games. But does that mean she'll be healthy? 100% fully healthy at least. Their next 3 games, which are the final games of July, is against the Aces tonight at home, then Chicago Sky on the road, then back at home against the Phoenix Mercury. But here's the schedule for the beginning of August, and again, this Fever team has to prepare to be without Caitlin Clark as she has no timetable for a return.
However, it indicates that even the specialists are uncertain about how long it will take her to recuperate. No other information was included in the Fever's update, so everyone was in the dark. The basketball community was alarmed. How is it possible that Caitlin Clark, the incredibly resilient guard who appeared destined to dominate the league, is currently dealing with an injury so problematic that no one can predict when she will return to action?
Folks, it was only a week ago that Caitlin Clark was listed as questionable for a Wednesday night game against the New York Liberty in New York. About 5 hours prior to game time, it goes from questionable to out. Thursday, heading into the All-Star break, the three-point contest is Friday night. Caitlin Clark releases a statement of her own saying she won't be participating in the three-point contest and won't be participating in the All-Star game. Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Unfortunately, Clark's entire season has revolved around this uncertainty. It seems like the next setback is just around the corner every time she suits up. This most recent groin injury is actually the 4th soft tissue injury Clark has suffered since the start of the 2025 WNBA regular season. The cycle is painful. She plays beautifully for short bursts of time before getting hurt again and again.
A lot of people were of the opinion of stay out as long as you have to. Just stay out. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if the season is not a wash at this point anyway. She needs to get well. This is good news, at least. Honestly, as someone who has dealt with this injury during the season, the way she was walking and moving all-All-Star week gave me hope for her. It wasn't a lot worse and a season-ending thing. They have to be smart, though.
The trend started early. In late May, Clark suffered an injury to her left quadriceps that kept her out of action for 5 games. Determined and full of optimism, she returned in mid-June. But she lost again after 5 games. This time, she lost the Commissioner Cup title and for additional games due to a left groin injury. Unfazed, Caitlyn went to treatment and returned again.
Now, just like I stated, guys, this should not come as no surprise, bro. I told you. Caitlin Clark was injured with her mobility. When she caught the first groin injury, that's what really kind of did everything in for her, guys. It was just not looking good after that first one. And unfortunately,
until July 15th, when she suffered a right groin injury against Connecticut, supporters were ecstatic to see her back in uniform. Yavu was terrible. Interestingly, prior to this season, Clark had never missed a game because of an injury. However, she has already sustained 4 separate muscle injuries this year. For a 23-year-old superstar in top form, it's an almost unbelievable turn of events. Every failure has been more painful than the one before it. For the league that relies on Caitlyn's star power as much as for herself, Clark instantly became the league's main attraction and the face of the Fever. The WNBA has benefited greatly. From her presence, she produced big surges in ticket sales and TV ratings, led the league in jersey sales, and her absence hurt the league's progress.
And yeah, of course, I want to see her play. Of course, I think they need her to win majority of these games, but at the same time, she needs to rest. Right? She needs to rest. We done seen her try to come back prematurely. She plays well, and then those next following games, it just looked like she's just not there. She doesn't look the same. Can barely get those shots off. So, yeah, I think it's best for everybody for her to rest and just get ready for the end game of this season.
That momentum has now stopped because Clark is trapped in a never-ending cycle of injury rehabilitation. She was expected to dominate the league this season, leading All-Star Weekend, putting Indiana in the running, and putting on incredible performances every night. Rather, it has been a season of what-ifs and glances. Despite being elected captain and starter for the All-Star game, she was unable to play due to her physical limitations. The Indianapolis All-Star celebrations, which ought to have been her home stage high point, continued without its star. Additionally, every game that Clark misses hurts the team's chances of making the playoffs because the club is now at about 50 in the standings. When she plays, Indiana is 8-5. But without her, they are 4-7. Her absence is felt in every aspect of the WNBA.
She missed 5 games on 2 separate occasions, first due to a left quad strain and then because of a left groin injury. However, the Fever announced no timetable for her return. She's missed 11 of 24 games this season. Wow. The team's statement said they will prioritize her long-term health. Clark's absence is a blow to the Fever's playoff hopes. At 12-12, Indiana holds a 1-game lead over the 9th seed Golden State Valkyries. However, the Fever are 4-7 without Caitlin Clark in the lineup.
It's evident that Caitlin isn't the fully developed talent that fans recall when she has managed to play this season. How could she be bearing the burden of high expectations and these persistent injuries? She is clearly fighting through the discomfort, though, game after game. Every drive feels a little more difficult, every jump shot a little heavier, and every direction change appears more careful. She's a startling 2 out of 35 from a distance when driving, because she is never completely healthy when she plays. These numbers clearly show that she isn't herself. It's clear that her confidence and rhythm have suffered as a result of her injury cycle. Why wouldn't it? She had a big bandage on her thigh 1 week. She's nursing a sore groin the following moment. Caitlin has admitted to the difficulty.
It is a scary thing when your legs are breaking down and you're not injured, because you have to figure out what the hell that is. It could literally be her running mechanics changed and it put pressure, even slightly, it put more pressure on her upper legs. Like all of those things. Which very well could be a reason why she's shooting so badly. Like maybe she did too much work trying to bulk up her upper body and not enough on her legs. Like, I don't know. She should probably go, I mean this when I say this, go to Iowa and do what she did in the off season beforehand. But now it's going to take like Like, hire a Tim Grover or something, because she's gonna have to rechange how she runs.
When she performs, her fans can see that strain. The entire crowd clutches its breath, hoping she's okay every time she stumbles or comes up limping. She is determined to keep her team going and almost always waves off assistance. However, onlookers can tell she's uncomfortable. A wee SE here, a minor limp there. She gives it her all. However, her weakened explosiveness and unsteady shooting show the price. It's a heartbreaking and inspirational depiction of a warrior striving to will herself through suffering. It hasn't become any easier because of rival teams. Because of her reputation and abilities, Clark is now the top target for every defense, and many opponents have put her to the test by playing too physically. Some have publicly acknowledged that their strategy is to physically abuse her. One opposing coach exposed the approach by saying, "We know she doesn't like physicality. To throw Clark off her game in practice, defenders will hit, bump, and grab her at any opportunity." It has occasionally crossed the line into perilous territory and transcended typical physical play. More than any other player this season, Clark has already received 6 egregious fouls. On a drive, she was knocked to the ground and had her stray elbow crack her in the face. These strikes have the potential to do significant harm.
Her making some statements about how her body feels this season under the circumstances of, well, getting the crap kicked out of her on the court and just dealing with injuries, right? I mean, people forget when she's injured, she can't train. You know, every time she gets injured and has to sit out, she has to come back and she has to try to recapture basketball shape, right? The ability to run up and down the court and maintain that cardio.
A player that handles the ball as often as Caitlin is getting hit on practically every possession, which coach Stephanie White feels is wearing her star down. And you load and explode differently as a result. White said, "All of that contact can eventually lead to injury. Broadcasters have also paid attention." ESPN's Rebecca Lobo detailed what she witnessed during a recent game as defenders rushed and grabbed at Clark. A grab occurs, followed by a hold and another grab. Those are all fouls, each and every one of them. However, a large number of those fouls went uncalled. Throughout the year, White's frustration with the officiating has been evident. She felt that the referees were permitting too much abuse of her top player, so she even yelled that everyone was improving except for the officials. Ultimately, Caitlin has been subjected to nightly abuse, and it's difficult to avoid associating that unrelenting physical abuse with the injuries that are currently endangering her season.
I mean, yes, you can argue that they play better without Caitlin, but no, in the postseason, you need your stars. They're going to need Caitlin. The fact that she's injured sucks, that's one thing. But the fact that we have no idea when she's coming back is another thing. Because the WNBA, Indiana, it's all taking a hit. I mean, it's kind of recovering at first when she was missing a lot of games, viewership, whatever you would like to talk about. Dropped, really did. But it's starting to rise. Even the All-Star game was a success.
That crucial matchup with the Sun on July 15th was the tipping point. With victory within reach late in the fourth quarter, bad luck struck once more. Clark assisted on what should have been the game-winning basket before abruptly going limp and gripping her right groin in agony. As she hobbled up to the bench, the arena went quiet. Aaliyah Boston, a teammate, walked next to her worriedly. Caitlin banged her head into the padded basket stanchion in agony and frustration. Shortly afterward, she lowered herself onto the bench, covered her head with a towel, and seemed to be suppressing her tears. For the crowd, what ought to have been a moment of victory had become yet another nightmare. It was heartbreaking to see Caitlin in that state. This is the same fiery leader who typically inspires spectators and rallies teammates. Now hunched over, a towel covering her eyes. Someone who keeps experiencing failures after detailing Clark's dejection, Coach White remarked, "It's very frustrating mentally and emotionally tough. Yes, upset doesn't really describe it. Given that the cycle was repeating itself, One can only understand Caitlyn's feelings of anxiety and frustration at that precise moment.
Well, I hate to break the news to y'all. My precious CC will be out indefinitely. That means we won't see her till next year because the whole Indiana Fever organization has failed her. You hear me? And the whole WNBA, from the commissioner to the corrupted referees and also the players that was on payroll. You hear me? That was sent to take her out the game. You hear me? Because they threatened by her aura and her greatness and her skill set. Because clearly
She is now confined to the one spot she detests, the sidelines, dressed in street clothes, staring helplessly. Clark is forced to watch her squad play without her during game after game. She remains as involved as she can, giving guidance during timeouts and applauding her teammates' great plays. However, there is a clear yearning in her eyes. Being unable to compete is a pain in and of itself for a competitor of her ability. Determined to come back stronger, she is giving her recovery her all. However, rehab is an isolating experience, and every day she is unable to function is a new challenge for her forbearance and resilience. Meanwhile, response from fans has been overwhelming. This time, they don't want her to hurry back. CC is free to take as much time as she needs to fully recover. One admirer begged on social media, "We want her back 100% healthy." Another said that if it takes that long to fully recuperate, she should even miss the remainder of the regular season. She's so important to everyone. Her fans would rather wait longer than risk another heartbreak if she returned too soon. All they want is for Caitlyn to be whole and content, illuminating the court as she was intended to.